Hey guys, how you doing? Ron Raymond here from the Raymond Report with tip number 14 of our 30 tips in 30 days segment of our Dog Days of Summer series. Hopefully you guys are enjoying these tips. As always, don't forget, subscribe to our channel by tapping that notification bell in the top right hand corner or hit the subscribe button below this video if you are watching on a mobile device. Today's tip is brought to you by the World Series of Handicapping Pro Football Contest Season number 10. That's right, we are going in season number 10, and look at these beauties right here. All these past winners were showing off their rings, and congratulations to our winners. And this could be you this season by entering our contest. You win the ring, you win cash, and it's only $25 to join. Sign up today at the World Series of Handicapping.com website. All right, let's get to tip number 14. Folks, you do not want to be unprepared when you're handicapping your contest picks, your sports betting picks, and you're going into a week, right? You think Belichick's always unprepared? You think Tomlinson's unprepared? You know, the best coaches and the best, performers of any industry, you got to come prepared, right? There's an old saying, you don't build your wings while being thrown off a cliff. You got to be ready, but hopefully you're not being thrown off a cliff, because that means you're in a bad situation right there, right? But you know what I'm saying. You got to come prepared. Be prepared, and this checklist, I'm hoping, will give you guys a bit of a head start when you're starting your handicapping. And we cut it out in four categories: value, situational, analytics, and roster situation. But we're going to kick it off here with the value situation. Now, the one thing with the NFL is you cannot get sucked in and start believing everything you read online, or, the perception versus reality, right? Do not get caught in the popularity contest. Don't be a headline handicapper, a headline bettor. Go and do your homework, research, because the truth is out there, but they always say the truth lies in the middle somewhere, right? But go and do your research and see where the value lies. If you look at the Raymond Report, it's based on three key fundamentals of sports handicapping. Number one is their value. Number two is the percentage play in my favor. And number three, the performance cycles. Is the performance cycles anywhere do I need to be concerned about, or can I find some indicators leading me enough indicators to string along to a confidence level that gives me a lot of confidence to bet on a selection? So value on the side and total. And again, do not get caught in the perception versus reality game with the bookmaker, because they want you to perceive a lot of things that are, especially the big headlines, right? Like Aaron Rodgers. This is number one thing. You start reading all the Aaron Rodgers rumors and headlines. You probably got him traded 10 times to Denver, and you're probably going to fade him in week one, right? Because you're believing that perception versus reality. But we all know Aaron Rodgers is a professional, and he can separate business from doing his job, right? So situational handicapping. This is very important, because the last thing you want to do is sit down on a game on a Sunday and turn on the tube and say, wow, okay, where's Lamar Jackson? How come Trace McSorley's starting here? I thought Lamar Jackson was the starting quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens. Well, did you look at the news this week? Did you see the roster? Nope, you got to do your work, right? So situational handicapping after a bye week. Is this team coming after a bye? And how are they going to react after a bye? Are they too relaxed, going into a bye? Are they looking ahead to their vacation and week? The thing is, in a bye week situation for teams, the teams that get the bye week early, they don't want those bye weeks early. They don't want it in week 5. They want that bye week when it's like week 10, right? No one wants a bye week in week 5 when you just started the season. So keep an eye out on those. Take a look at the last 3 games of teams. Are they bullish, neutral, or bearish? Now, in the Raymond Report, I always look at cycles, right? Performance cycles. And if a team is bullish, that means they're 3-0 in their last 3. If they're neutral, they're 1-2 or 2-1. And if they're bearish, they're 0-3. And that's where I get that analogy. It's like a stock market thing, but it plays on the market psychology of the betting public, and the bookmaker he knows all about that, right? Is the team streaking? Are they on a 3, 4, 5-game win streak? Side totals plays a huge role. A team that's on a 7-game ATS win streak, what are the odds of them cashing in another ticket next week, right? The more you go on a winning streak or losing streak against the spread, it decreases the percentage play of covering, because what goes up must come down, and the bookmaker will always try to find a way to get back to the middle ground, right? Before or after a division game, you're not telling me that when Pittsburgh plays Baltimore next week that they're not thinking ahead of the most physical rivalry in sports between the Steelers and Ravens. Tennessee's getting up there too. Derrick Henry, very physical running back. Teams that play Derrick Henry know that it's what are they, the ice tub time right after the game, right? Division sandwich. Are we in the division sandwich? Is there am I caught between two division games? Do I got to worry about this game? I did a tip video. It's actually you probably saw it right now because it's tip number 11 or 12, and this is 14. So you probably saw the division sandwich tip. That's a very good one. If you missed it, go watch that video. Coming off a 30-90 situation, my good friend Bob Sparks from the Alabama Sports Wire. And Sparky used to teach me this a long time ago. He goes, look for teams that scored 30 or less points in their last 3 games and teams that allowed 90 points or more in their last 3. In the 4th game, a lot of value in that system right there. Now, is a team playing their Super Bowl? And I'm talking about teams that are non-playoff teams on Thursday, Sunday night games, and Monday night games. You're telling me a team like, say, the New York Giants, who are maybe 2-10 on the season, playing Tampa Bay on a Monday night football game, that's not their Super Bowl? Oh, yeah, that's their Super Bowl. So you got to be careful of those type of games, right? The team... let me see, where am I? Last line move, late line movement. Now, prior to a game, in today's age, you don't see a lot of major line movements, maybe in college football, but in NFL, anything over 2 or 3, that could be considered major. But keep an eye out for late line movements on a Sunday, around lunchtime, right? Team coming off a letdown game. So, what is a letdown game? Now, let's say Green Bay played New Orleans last week and they beat them. Well, this upcoming game, are they going to have a letdown because they just had a big win over the Saints, or are they going to be in a letdown situation right there? And does the team have a look-ahead game? So let's say Green Bay is playing Detroit, a division game, and they got Tampa Bay on deck. Well, that's a big look-ahead game. You're playing Detroit, but you got Tom Brady on deck and the defending Super Bowl champion, so you might be looking ahead to that game. All right, so those are the situational handicapping checklist that you want to check. And guys, it takes you about 5 minutes, 10 minutes to go through all that when you're doing every game, and it all depends how serious you want to win. You want to win, do the work. Make it count. Look at the top of this title here, the header. Make it count. You want to make it count, right? So analytics. Now I'm a big guy in analytics, so I always look at the home road records. Big difference in the pros compared to college. Well, college too. Home and road. Teams at home have a tendency to win more games, obviously, than their road games for some reason. And again, it all becomes on scheduling, right? Who you're facing. Favorites, underdog, division records, conference records, non-conference records. What's their record after win? I'm a law of average guy. And Ross Benjamin taught me a great tip a long time ago. You want to play in a team that lost against the spread and straight up in their last game versus a team that won against the spread and straight up in the last game, because the team that won against the spread and straight up in the last game, the fact of them doing it twice in a row, and what the betting public will do is they'll always look at that team that lost and say, oh, they suck, they can't win, against the team that won against the point spread in the next game. And so it's market psychology, right? And the bookmakers know that. Sports betting index, the PVI SOS. I always look at the strength of schedule. Certain teams, the A, B, and the C type teams in the Raymond Report. I always feel like, the alpha type teams, it's very rare they had a bad game. The B type teams will have 2-3 bad games, and C type teams, well, they're a reason why they're in the, below 500 club, right? All right. That is analyticals, facts that you want to consider when you are, looking over your tip sheet. Also, roster situation. Now, this is very important. And the more I get into these new, I always say the goalposts have changed in sports, right? And now it used to be a lot of analytics, situational. Roster, you got to be on top of all the roster, because when you get players moving, and with all the injuries, especially NBA, you just don't know who's going to be in the lineup one night, right? So you got to factor in who's in the lineup, who's playing, and is there a triplet factor? One of my big things is, it's the Dallas Cowboy factor. I call this the triplet factors, right? You look at the triplets, you get, you had Aikman, Smith, and Michael Irving, right? The greater Michael Irving. I love Michael Irving. He's a energetic guy to watch on the NFL Network. The triple. So, for instance, what is the triple factor this year? So, is Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones, and Devontae Adams, are they in the lineup this week? That's a triple factor. That triplet factor, I consider that maybe a 2-point difference right there, depending on the triplets, right? It could be a 1-2. Very rare I'll go 3-point triplet factor, but those triplets, can play a major factor when you're doing your handicapping, and I consider the triplet factor into my my handicapping. How many top 10 players at certain unit positions? Do we have a top 10 player, at running back, receiver, quarterback? The D-line, do we have, one of the greatest pass rushers in the top 10? Are we facing them this week? Know who you're facing that week, and is there any top 10 players in certain categories that you're facing? Because that could play a big role, right? Is there a coaching edge? Now, what I did is I took down all the coaches this year, because we're always, every year is new coaches, and you're wondering, you know what, Ron? Who's coach for Philadelphia Eagles this year, right? So 3, 2, 1. Oh, Nick Sirianni. Did you have him? Yeah, that's right. Peterson's gone. So, you got to keep on track on who's coaching. Robert Saleh, New York Jets. So, these are all the names. I put that right below here. It'll be on atsstats.com. Just look for this logo here on the front page, the football handicapping checklist, and you can go through all the football coaches for this 2021 season. Now, I'm looking for edges, right? I'm looking, is there a Belichick versus a Zach Taylor, an old school versus a new school? I'm always looking at that angle right there. I'm a football coach, so I know preparation is huge. And, if like a coach like Belichick is facing a Zach Taylor or a Cliff Kingsbury, it's old school, new school. So, you got to consider that a little bit, right? Any roster changes, anybody's resting any starters, you look at that later in the season. Injury report, there's a no-brainer, right? That should be number one right there. Are they playing in any backups at linebackers or running back? To me, football, you look at the linebacker and running back position, it's the most physical impact collision of all the places on the field. DB, and there's a reason why they call DBs jam tarts, right? Is because they're out in an island with the receivers, and they're just they're covering. They're not like linebackers and running backs who are, taking head starts at 7 yards, and, so the running back will stand 7 yards behind the center. The D-line, the linebackers will stand 7 yards behind the D-line. So you got 14 yards of impact that is really critical and collision. And I've coached football, and I know when running backs are scared. I know when linebackers are hurt. You got to factor in, linebackers, it's the most underrated position. The quarterbacks, the DBs, the safeties get all the glory, but it's really the linebackers and running backs who should be getting all the headlines, because they're the ones taking the most pounding. Yeah, O-line, D-line too, but they're in close contact, right? So, but linebackers, running backs, man, for me, after week 3, 4, 5, maybe week 7, no pads in practice for linebackers or running back, maybe once a week, right? And that's what they're probably doing right now. What type of defense are we facing this week? Is it a 3-4 or 4-3 defense? Are we going to see a Tampa 2? Does this team play a lot of zone defense? Are they a lot of man? We got to worry about that. And, are they going to be mismatched in those situations, right? Are they banged up on the O-line, D-line? How's the backup position at O-line? Sometimes you look at the O-line week 13 and they're decimated, and they got, two practice roster guys joining in that week, and now you got a weakness at the O-line, right? You got a hole right there. The kickers, are they banged up? Hey, with these new point after now, and there's, it's like a 50-yard field goal for an extra point. How's the kicking situation? How's the punting? Does he shank a lot? Do we got to worry about that? The one thing, you got two good teams going in, it's the possession, the field possession. Am I going to start always at the 40, or am I going to start at the 10? There's a big difference going 80 yards or going 60 yards in the NFL, right? And the backup quarterback. Can you trust the backup quarterback? For instance, if Kyler Murray's out, and let's say he gets injured, he's not out. Let's say he gets injured, and you're like, who's the backup? Colt McCoy. Oh crap, and it's, I would never played Arizona -7 favorite if I knew. You don't know he's going to get injured, but you got to find out. And can I trust Colt McCoy as a 7-point favorite, right? And it's no disrespect to Colt McCoy. He's an NFL quarterback, but he's not an NFL quarterback that that has a 7. If he's the starting quarterback, he's not a 7-point favorite, right? That's just the reality of the situation. Same thing in Baltimore. Lamar goes down, Trace McSorley. That's there goes from a 7 to a 2 maybe, right? When it comes to the point spread. So it has nothing to do with disrespecting of the backups. It all has to do with respect of the line. It's all like, okay, there's a big difference when, the Kyler Murray's in as a -7 favorite against, say, the Carolina Panthers. And, then if Colt McCoy started, maybe they're a 3-point favorite, a 2.5, right? So, big difference when it comes to the backup quarterbacks. Know who the backups are. All right, these tips. The one thing I'm trying to do with these tip shows is keep them under 10 minutes. But you can see once you get talking NFL football, you get so excited you lose track of time. And I'm thinking, I don't think you guys really mind, right? And speaking of don't mind, if you don't mind hitting the like button if you do enjoy the video, and subscribe to the channel by tapping that notification bell in the top right-hand corner. And folks, 2 things before you go. Number 1, sign up at the World Series of Handicapping Pro Football Contest, season number 10, $25 entry. Why not join? And if you're interested in my plays this year and you want to get a Raymond Report tip sheet for all the NFL coming up, just sign up using promo code Football2021. That's capital F, Football 2021. And you can get 20% off your next membership package right here at atsstats.com, and you will get all these picks along with your membership. My 10-star game of the week, my 5-star best bet, my 4-star over-under, my 2-team parlay of the day, my system play of the day, and my upset special underdog play of the day. And it's all with a membership right here at atsstats.com. All right, that's it. That's a wrap, as they say. And that is tip number 14 in the books. Hopefully you enjoy it. Cheers.